Please be seated. Good morning. Rabbis, board members, faculty, parents, grandparents, siblings, and friends of the graduating class of 2021. Welcome to our graduation ceremony. Naftali, Ashi, Yoni, Ariella, Maya, Ilana, Holden, and Leah. Your last year at NEJA was my first, and I want to thank each of you for being so welcoming as we dealt with some unusual challenges in school this year. Your yearbook's theme of community is so relevant to the NEJA 2020-21 experience and to the spirited leadership your class displayed. There were extra demands on all of our students this year, and you were spectacular role models of responsibility, respect, menschlichkeit, and care for others as you led the upper school with grace, good humor, and kindness. Whether shooting threes in the gym, curled up on your comfy sofa in the student lounge, sitting together in the commons, or hanging out in the last row of shul, you know who you are. You enjoyed your time together even as you knew the class of 21 was about to leave the leafy confines of our beautiful campus. So what is a community? Rabbi Joseph B. Soloveitchik, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, the Rav, in a 1978 essay in Tradition magazine titled The Community, described your class of 2021 beautifully. The individuals belonging to the community complement one another existentially. Each individual possesses something unique, rare, which is unknown to others. Each individual has a unique message to communicate, a special color to add to the communal spectrum. He contributes something which no one else could have contributed. He is irreplaceable. Each of you brought your special gifts to each other and to our school. We will miss you dearly, and we wish you Godspeed in all your future endeavors. Remember to come back and visit. I trust Rabbi Soloveitchik's concluding sentence conveys what your class and all of us here are feeling today. It is a privilege and a pleasure to belong to such a prayerful, charitable, teaching community which feels the breath of eternity. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
Rabbi Aaron Skoglund will now lead us in the national anthems of the United States and Israel.
Thank you. Please join me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of כל עוד בלב אף בנימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ובתי מזרח קדימה, עין לציון סופיה. עוד לא עמדה תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. Thank you. You may be seated.
We begin our graduate reflections with Naftali Fenster.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. When I first came to HH&E, beginning of sophomore year, I already knew several people in the school, which helped make for a very easy transition. That being said, for the first 1 or 2 weeks I was here, I was still figuring things out because I was a very shy person. But due to the incredible friendliness and kindness of everyone, faculty and students, by the 3rd or 5th week, I already knew almost everyone and knew that this was where I wanted to be. It's said in Talmud Shabbat 30b, the sages taught that a person should always be patient like Hillel. This is something that all the teachers at HH&E have followed incredibly well. I was not always the least disruptive nor the most attentive student, but the teachers were very patient with me and somehow managed to get me to learn, even when I was struggling to focus. This just goes to show how amazing these teachers are and how much they really care about the education of their students. And believe me, it doesn't go unnoticed by the students. My favorite thing about HH&E is the incredible environment it provides, one of community. To me, community is a place where anywhere you go in the building, there's always a friendly face that you recognize or someone you can talk to. For me personally, this only ever happens at 2 places, my own home and the second home that I share with every other person in the building. Another part of HH&E that I really enjoyed was the social events we had, such as the lock-in and the retreat. These were always really fun, and they gave me the chance to become closer friends with people who I wouldn't have otherwise. Things like these, as well as just the atmosphere of the school, have helped me establish friendships and connections that I will take with me far beyond high school. Thank you, Dr. Nabel, for being the best principal I could ask for. You've always been incredibly kind and understanding, and have always been there to help when I need it. Your smile or wave through your window every morning when we walk in the building was a really good start to every day. Thank you, Rabbi Skoglund, for providing your more spiritual perspectives on Judaism. Although sometimes I found it hard to pay attention, every time I did, there was something meaningful. Thank you as well for all you do planning student activities. Without all the work you put in, the school really wouldn't have been nearly as fun. Thank you, Ms. Lorenzo, for both being an excellent math teacher and for being very understanding of my inability to write stuff down on paper. Sitting in Algebra 2 class or just walking into the room during a free period, being able to come up and write on the board instead made difficult material so much easier for me to understand. Thank you to all my teachers, my friends, and my family for all the support you have all given me throughout the years. Without all of you, I wouldn't be who I am now, and I am incredibly grateful. Last but not least, thank you to my tutor and friend, Denise Kafi, without whom I actually may not have been here. I can't count the amount of late nights you spent helping me with essays or homework or just organizing myself. I know I was difficult, and you were always willing to help me even when I didn't deserve it. There are multiple classes I've taken that I legitimately don't know I'd have passed without your help. So again, thank you. HH&E is a school that I could not be more proud to have attended. This school has given me certain values of friendship, hard work, and perseverance. I will sincerely try my best to hold on to these as tightly as possible going into college and onward.
We continue with Ashi Garfield.
Sorry, this paperclip. I was told I didn't need my mask. Confirm? Correct. Nod, thank you. So I wrote most of the quips out of this speech. I'm sorry. They get less funny every time I read them. If you pore over someone's extensive history in life, you might be able to spot major turning points where their life changed, for better or for worse. Personally, I feel I've experienced a multitude of these turning points while enrolled at this school. When looking back on myself from 2017, I find myself astonished and embarrassed by my actions from back then. When I first found myself stepping foot in NEJA, then HH&E, as a student, I was coming straight from the 7th grade, having done online schooling for a year, a large and not quite in charge 13-year-old who didn't really understand his place in the world. I hadn't really talked to schoolmates much that year, so I was pretty much isolated from people my own age. This wasn't really a problem for me, as I've always been used to dealing with and talking with people who are much older than me, thanks to my siblings, who range from being 4 to 12 years older than me. From living with them at home and later visiting them in their apartments, I sort of lost my sense of not quite respect, but I understood that people older than me weren't infallible beings and was quite used to talking with and dealing with them, at least as much as an asocial 13-year-old could be. But I digress. Anyway, in order to carve a niche for myself at the school, or so I say, but it was mostly because I was a stupid 13-year-old with a lack of foresight, as opposed to a stupid 17-year-old with a lack of foresight. I forgot to write that quip out. I acted, well, strange. Those who knew me back then will note a few stark differences, such as the fact that I no longer incessantly slap my stomach, instead preferring to do something like tap my collarbone, which I discovered existed after I lost my neck fat at fat camp. And speaking of fat camp, remember those turning points that I talked about probably not that long ago, but the speech is being written down, so I have no idea how much time has passed between now and then? Yeah, those ones. Fat camp, pretty much exactly what it sounds like, was one of the first major turning points in my life and is one of the many experiences that I am eternally grateful to my parents for putting me through. At fat camp, I dropped around 40 pounds, but something began to take root in my mind in exchange. It would not be until much later that it really began to show itself, but I sincerely believe that the marginal amount of self-confidence I gained from that weight loss helped the small sprout of a proper sense of shame grow inside of my head. After fat camp, I returned to school in my sophomore year as a quote-unquote wise fool, which coincidentally is an origin of the word sophomore. The idea that I didn't necessarily need to stand out had sprouted, but I still thought it was fine to regularly debase myself for the entertainment of others. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about bullying, but my brand of humor back then, and still kind of now, but whatever, was particularly self-deprecating. Nothing particularly interesting happened during my sophomore year that isn't confidential for one reason or another, or another, and not the fun kind of confidential. So we can pretty much gloss over that. During my junior year, I began to feel out of place, as though I didn't quite fit in amongst my classmates. I was misguided by my prejudice to believe that I needed to be with people my own age and scared of the next phase of my life. I didn't feel ready to be a senior. I talked with my parents in the school, and after much deliberation, I decided to repeat my junior year so that I would be in the proper age bracket. Obviously, this plan went awry, otherwise I wouldn't be standing here right now. This decision was another major turning point in my life. One of the first times I made a very impactful decision regarding my own life as opposed to someone else having thought of it for me. In fact, you can pretty much tell that it wasn't suggested to me by someone else because looking back on it, it was a pretty dumb idea born from a desperation to stay stagnant in life. However, despite calling it a dumb idea just now, I don't regret it. Had I not taken that leap, I'm sure a different Ashi would be standing before you today, or perhaps I wouldn't even be standing here. Over the course of this year, I've, in a certain sense, rediscovered myself. That proper sense of shame that took root after fat camp finally blossomed into a beautiful shame butterfly, and I realized that I didn't have to stand out. As long as I was living life how I wanted to, there was no reason to involve others. So I secluded myself in the library for the majority of my time. I found myself slowly drifting away from my friends here at school, but we still maintained amiable relationships, and it was something I had thought inevitable anyway. Still, as I stand here today, somehow, I am grateful for all those connections that I made at the school. Many people here helped shape me into the person I am today. From my friends here at school to the teachers and faculty who were extremely helpful and caring over the course of my schooling, to my siblings, who I will now mention all of by name because I appreciate that they came out here for today, unless they didn't, in which case, what are you doing? Did you really have something better to be doing today? But I digress. Thank you to Esty for always lending me your books, your ears, your voice, your wisdom, and your shoulder to sleep on. I know I can always rely on your advice. To Aton for doing things varying from putting stuffed animal shows on for me when I was younger to hosting me in the city a week ago and making me try new things. I know you'll always be there for me. To Akiva for being a role model on what to do in life and at the same time a role model on what absolutely not to do in life. I admire your drive and at the same time can't help but feel apprehensive about it. To Rebecca, who probably isn't here today because it's her bridal shower, you're a really great sister-in-law and you have great synergy with the family. I can't wait for you to officially join us. To Amuna for being willing to drive me around and encouraging me to do new things. I love hanging out with you and Esty, even though you're really short. To Rashi for getting me into reading and many of my other hobbies. I might not quite be a carbon copy of you, but I'm pretty close. And finally, to quote Shemot 20:12, honor your father and your mother in order that your days be lengthened. And of course, I want my days to be lengthened, who doesn't? So I decided to leave my mother and father for the last of the speech. To Mom and Dad, I never would have made it this far without you. You've helped me with many, many things and supported me also in many, many things. I love you both from the bottom of my heart and I'm extremely grateful for everything you've done for me. Thank you.
We continue with Yoni Gessen.
Good morning, everyone. As you might know, I'm not one for speeches, so I'll keep it short. You know, it all seems so very arbitrary. I came to the school because it was really the only option for me. In my first class, I took a desk at the back because it was empty. But no matter how you get there or where you end up, human beings have this miraculous gift of making that place their home, and that's what happened here. Throughout my 4 years here, I have changed so much. I have made mistakes and I have grown up. And for everything that has happened, in every way I have changed, I have this school to thank. I am a very shy person, but through my time here, I have become more comfortable with other people because of the community that exists here and the friends I have made. I remember on the retreat my freshman year being shy and not really wanting to do things, but my friends helped me break out of my shell and later made my kayak flip over, so I still kind of got the short end of the stick on that one. I may not have gotten too many awards or gotten the best grades, but what I did get were amazing friends and wonderful memories, ones that I will never forget and cherish for the rest of my life. I spent 4 years here trying to learn all these different school subjects like math and Talmud, and although I may not have loved every minute of it, I owe a lot of my success to this school. This stupid, wonderful, boring, amazing school. I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you left them. So if I had one piece of advice to all of the students, don't stress too much over your work or your grades, but try to enjoy every minute of every day. The struggles, the happy times, the friends, and the family, because these are the best years of your life, and I'm going to miss each and every one of you, because you made my time here what it was. I want to say thank you to my parents for sending me to this school, and to my siblings for helping make me who I am. I also want to say a big thank you to my teachers and the faculty for teaching me so many life lessons and helping develop me into the person that I am today. You know, every day when I came to school, all I wanted to do was leave. So why in the world does it feel so hard to leave right now? Thank you.
Our next, Ariella Gutfrein.
Good morning, everyone. I want to congratulate everyone in my class today on completing high school. We made it! We worked so hard to get here, but here we are, all ready to graduate. We worked so hard to get here, but we didn't do it alone. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to the following people. To our teachers. Thank you so much for sharing your patience, talent, and knowledge with us. You took the time to explain assignments and questions when you could have gone home. You put in the effort and time to make all the lessons interesting, and you pushed us each to reach our potential. So thank you. To my parents, thank you for supporting me in more ways than it's possible to count. You dragged me out of bed each morning, made sure I had my daily grilled cheese sandwich ready to go, and drove me to school. You helped me with my homework, taught me how to drive, came to all my plays and basketball games. These are just a few of the thousands of ways in which you've guided me throughout all my life, since day one. I love you all so much, and I'm incredibly blessed to have you as my parents. To Batsheva, thank you for welcoming me to NEJA and guiding me throughout my journey in high school. Your positive energy, professionalism, and commitment to each student is remarkable. To Dr. Nabel, Nady Katz, and all the faculty and staff, thank you for helping keep everything running smoothly and for accommodating each student, and for always greeting us with a smile and a warm welcome. Also, thank you, Dr. Nabel, for always keeping a stash of Hershey's and Reese's chocolate in your office for our convenience. To Mrs. Page, thank you for keeping us on the right track for college. Without your help, some of us might not be graduating today. To Paul, thank you for keeping our school so clean and safe. It's thanks to you that the school building is always so pleasant and neat to be around. To my grandparents, thank you for always being there for me through thick and thin and for offering me the best advice. I learned from you to value education, to embrace all of life's challenges, and to always push myself to reach my goals. I don't know where I would be without you. Love you all so much. I think we can all agree that a lot has changed since we all first got here. For example, Mr. Town's hairstyle, social distancing, different TikTok trends, and even the school's Wi-Fi password changed. Even though the school is small, it's a family. The school has shown me what it's like to accept each person for who they are. It has helped me develop a strong interest in learning, and it has added so much to my love for Judaism and Jewish life. I especially enjoyed Rabbi Skoglin's Talmud and Chumash classes, and I would like to thank him for contributing so much to my passion for Judaism. I also appreciated when, upon a student's request, we stopped in the middle of class in order to practice some Taekwondo. Definitely one of the most memorable classes. In Pirkei Avot 1:18, Shimon ben Gamliel says, "On three things does the world stand, on justice, on truth, and on peace." These are values that I hold close to heart and ones that I try to implement into all aspects of my life. We're all going to take different paths and follow different lifestyles, but it's up to us to carry on the lessons and values that we've gained at NEJA and bring them with us throughout the next stage of our lives. I'm excited to go on to college, but I will really miss being at school with all of you. I will forever cherish the memories I have of my years spent here. So I guess what I'm saying is, even though it was a long commute every day, it was worth every second. I want to congratulate my fellow classmates, all 8 of us, and I want to wish you all continued health, happiness, and success for many years to come. New England Jewish Academy, thank you for changing my life for the better. I hope that one day I can contribute to the world in the same way that this school has contributed to my life. Thank you.
You know those things where they say we interrupt this program to bring you this announcement? Well, we break up the reflections with the awarding of 2 awards. The Edlin Blitzer Honorary Award for Excellence in General Studies and High Integrity. Leah Simon. the Rosenblatt Family Scholarship Award, and there are two of them, for midot tovot, or good character, and being helpful to classmates and teachers. Maya Oberstein. And Naftali Fenster. We continue our graduate reflections with Maya Oberstein.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad all of you could join us today. To be honest, during the summer before my freshman year, I was not particularly thrilled with the idea of attending HH&E. My outlook was that I would go to school, learn what I needed to, and then simply head for college. No strings attached. However, aside from attaining an excellent academic education, my original outlook regarding my experience at HH&E was completely and utterly wrong. That is because NEJA is more than just a high school. It is a supportive community that fosters growth in its students, including within me. Before attending HH&E, my knowledge of Judaism was limited. I had attended Hebrew school from a young age, but had little Jewish education in comparison to my soon-to-be classmates. Furthermore, I didn't feel a ginormous connection to Judaism, as I had never entirely was able to figure out exactly how I fit into all of it. All of that has been changed by my time at HH&E. In my Humash classes, I was given the ability and guidance to study Torah, which allowed me to expand my knowledge and gain a greater understanding of Judaism's roots. These classes provided me with the opportunity to explore what it means to be Jewish and what it means to me particularly. Concurrently, my Judaic medley classes, which explored various topics including ethics, Zionism, halacha, and God, fostered the tremendous connection to Judaism that I now have. My classes on Nach and religious Zionism brought our nation's history to life in a way that allowed me to connect, while the classes I took on the topics of ethics, halacha, and God allowed me to understand our actions and why we do them. HH&E has given me an abundance of knowledge and a valuable connection to Judaism that I cannot imagine going on without. Anyone who knows me is aware that when I set my mind to something, I'm extraordinarily determined to achieve it. I entered high school with numerous goals for my life, and I was aware that achieving many of my goals was dependent on taking advantage of the education given to me and performing well in school. As an underclassman, I was not the most outgoing person, and with my aspirations, it was natural that I was constantly working. As I was consumed in work, I started feeling more and more isolated. But gradually, I started to open up a bit as I saw the fun people had with NEJA's amazing student life. As soon as I did so, there was a shift within me. I started to become more outgoing, more capable of relaxing, and more able to enjoy my time with friends. Now, don't get me wrong, doing well in school is important. However, I've learned that balancing work with a social life is also extremely valuable. I can't discuss my development socially without mentioning my amazing classmates who are graduating with me today. I'm not going to lie, we had an interesting start, but as we've progressed through high school, we have come together as a class. I can't help but reflect on all the great times we've had together, camping, during game nights, and in our typical daily conversations. Ultimately, it was NEJA student body that has helped me to become more outgoing and able to enjoy my time here. In all my experience at NEJA has helped me to grow in numerous ways. Yeshua ben Parachaya really captures what I believe I've done at NEJA. In Pirkei Avot 1:6, he says, "Make for yourself a teacher, acquire for yourself a friend, and judge every person on the positive side." I've most certainly found many teachers who have guided me and helped me to learn. I've found friends who have helped me to grow and come out of my shell. And I've learned to not only judge every person on the positive side, but to go into new environments and experiences with a positive attitude. I could go on for a very long time about the ways in which NEJA has helped me to grow. However, it is quite easy to list the singular way in which NEJA has not helped me to, and that is in my height. Before I head off to college, I want to thank NEJA's faculty and staff for supporting me throughout high school and always encouraging me to improve. Dr. Nabel, I would not have been able to make it through high school without you, and of course, your chocolate drawer. I cannot express how grateful I am to be part of the amazing family I have. Dad, you have always been there to support me through the good and the bad, and I cannot truly express just how much that means to me. Batsheva, although I've only known you for just under 5 years, you've had tremendous impact on my life, which I am so incredibly grateful for. Jordan, you have helped me in numerous ways that you probably aren't even aware of, and I'm so grateful for that. To my step-siblings, Tova, Meira, Siona, and Amitai, I honestly can't imagine my life without the spunk you've all added to it. I'd like to thank the rest of my family, both here in person and joining on Zoom, for all the support throughout my life. And lastly, I'd like to thank my mom, who I would never have attended HH&E or developed into the person I am today without. So thank you everyone for being here today, and congratulations to all my fellow graduates. Thank you.
We continue with Alana Rappaport.
I am a perfectionist. Growing up, I took pride in coloring inside the lines, cutting along the dotted edges, and writing in perfect print. I set excessively high standards and experienced a consequential feeling of defeat when I failed to achieve them. When I began high school, harder classes and increased peer pressure only intensified the stress I felt to perform perfectly. Along with my yearning for excellence came low self-confidence, harsh self-criticism, and self-doubt. I spent my underclassmen years fighting for the impossible, perhaps pushing too hard both physically and mentally to turn an abstract ideal into reality. The Gemara states, "A prisoner cannot free himself from prison, but depends on others to release him from his shackles." Last fall, I transferred to NEJA, a community of love and encouragement. In this year of isolation and virtual connections, the New England Jewish Academy has become my second home, and my class of 8 has become a new extended family. When I think of my classmates, I think of patience and compassion and understanding and individuality and cosmic capacities for humor. You all have inspired me to fight my inner perfectionism for the purpose of living large and wild. Through my time at NEJA, I have come to understand that those qualities that make days and change lives and spread good, those are the things that truly matter. I am so fortunate to be able to spend my senior year of high school at NEJA, to be in school 5 days a week with 40 new, kind-hearted friends. I spent the last year before college with my sister. I studied new subjects and deepened my connection with my Jewish heritage. I am happy and healthy and in an environment in which I feel loved and supported. For most, this small religious school would appear confining, but this school's tight-knit, loving community has truly enabled me to grow. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here on this special day. To Dr. Nabel, thank you for all you do to ensure NEJA is the wonderful, caring school community that it is, and for your abundant supply of chocolates. To all my teachers, thank you for sharing your wisdom and guidance and for caring so genuinely about your students. To my parents and sister, Talia, thank you for your incredible investment of love and support. I am the luckiest graduate in the room because I have the 3 of you. And to my fellow classmates, I cannot thank you enough for inspiring me, for teaching me to live large, not perfect. Thank you.
We continue with Holden Shapiro.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Holden Shapiro, and I started attending NEJA in my freshman year. I did this without any prior Jewish schooling. NEJA immediately made an impact on me. It felt like home, and it was the first time I actually enjoyed going to school. I knew public school wasn't for me. I was ready to move on to a smaller school with a more nurturing environment, and boy, did I hit the jackpot. In December of my freshman year, I was dealing with personal family and health issues. My dad left home without a word, and my parents divorced. It was a very difficult time for me and my family. Things finally started to improve by junior year. I was feeling great and loved being at school. It was a home away from home, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I was well enough to play basketball and was named captain of the basketball team. Things were starting to look up, and then COVID hit. I was thrilled when we returned to school and to in-person learning in the fall of my senior year. I was upset to learn there would be no basketball season, but I was thankful we were back in school. Many times I have felt as if I was taking one step forward and two steps back. It can be challenging to stay strong and positive and to persevere when this occurs. I've learned that Judaism applauds perseverance. The Tanakh teaches that righteous people may complete a task by falling 7 times, but always getting up again. More important than attaining an end goal is one's willingness to keep on working. I find comfort in this teaching. It is a refreshing perspective to focus on continuing to get up and show up instead of the end goal. It is important to keep going in whatever increments you can. The philosophy is in line with these teachings. I've been beyond fortunate to be surrounded by people that not only inspire me every day to persevere, but who applaud my efforts, no matter how close I am to reaching the end goal. Batsheva was the first person I met when visiting NEJA. She greeted me with a warm smile and bubbly personality. It was beyond welcoming, and then at that point, I knew I could see myself here. Since that initial encounter, I've met many more faculty and staff that made me feel the same way. Mr. Reinach helped me so much throughout my first 3 years of high school, with not only work, but being a person that you could talk to about anything. He is the true definition of a teacher. Paul is a very underrated part of the school. He comes in, does his job, is nice to everybody. He will open your locker for you about 5,000 times a year, always with a smile. Maybe you can open it one last time. My favorite subject is history, and I've had the pleasure to know Ms. Zakin for 4 years and studied under her for 3. Ms. Zakin is a very kind and caring woman with a deep knowledge of history and a very interesting class style that I think really helps you prepare for college. She looks at you not only as a student, but as a person. My least favorite subject is math, mostly because it doesn't come easy to me. Ms. Sorenzo managed to teach it in such a way that I could understand it and appreciate it. I actually enjoyed her class because of her thoughtful approach. Rabbi Skoklin has had a tremendous impact on me, both as a student and a man. When my parents divorced, he was the first one that was truly there for me. He would relentlessly try to connect with me. He recognized my love of basketball and offered to coach me during the summer and study Judaica. That's a wise man. The minute he said basketball, I was in. Thank you for being there for me when my father wasn't. Appreciate you. I've been given 3 minutes, certainly not enough time to mention all the incredible experiences I've had here, the amazing people I've met, Mr. and Mrs. Page, Mr. Riley, Dr. Nabel, the list goes on. The lessons I've learned, the friendships I've fostered, and the joy it's given me to being part of this incredible school. I've learned the importance of community, a new appreciation for being Jewish, and the impact of giving to others with an open heart and mind. I will carry this with me always and forever be grateful for my time spent here. Last but not least, thank you to my amazing and strong mom, who is an inspiration to me and many others. Thank you.
We conclude our graduate reflections with Leah Simon.
Consider this. Before I came to NEJA, or as I still think of it, HHNE, I had attended the public school system in my tiny backwoods town. I wasn't looking for a religious school, but when a member of my synagogue convinced me to tour the Hebrew High School of New England, even though I was dead set against wearing a skirt every day, as soon as I came out of my first class of the day, I told my mother that this was it. I felt at home here like I'd never experienced outside of my house or my synagogue. I couldn't fathom the idea of an institution whose teachers were readily available to help students whenever needed, a school where special needs were taken seriously rather than ignored or mocked, or even just where the students were happy and proud to be here. I never imagined that I might genuinely enjoy more than one, much less all, of my classes, and I never expected that Judaism would become such an important part of my life. I came from a town where a classmate once asked me if I worshiped the sun god, and now I know the difference between Rambam and Ramban, and what to do if I drop a piece of meat into a pot of boiling milk. It took me a long time to get used to the comfortable familiarness with which the other students treated the teachers and each other, but by my third or fifth day, I realized what an important part of the school it was. I love that I can email Rabbi Skoglund in the middle of the night with a question about Midrash, or get extra help with calculus from Dr. Leichberg whenever I need it, which was often. I love that my principal knows my name, even how to spell it, which is especially impressive. And those of all my classmates, though frankly I'm not sure I'll ever get used to some of them, Gedalia. I'm grateful for all the ways this school has changed me for the better. I'm more in touch with my Jewish identity, and I'm especially glad for all the ways I've changed as a person, and hopefully will continue to do so. While COVID-19 made applying to college especially difficult, and certainly changed my senior year experience, it also brought my class closer together, and I couldn't be more grateful for all the people graduating alongside me. It also wouldn't be my senior speech without a special shout out to Maya, my best friend and the only constant throughout these turbulent 4 years, and also to Alana, who I wish I had gotten to know earlier, but look forward to knowing for a long time after this. My parents and my grandparents have supported me for everything, and I wouldn't be here without them. And I am forever grateful to everyone who is involved in making NEJA the amazing place that it is today.
If you follow in your program, it says presentation of gifts, and it says Nady Katz. The gifts involved are Sidurim. Each student receives personal Siddur. This tradition started many years ago when the PTO was very active, and the head of the PTO at that time was Dr. Amy Major Garfield. The other day I went to Nady and I said, I'd like to cross your name off for a moment, and I'd like to honor Amy with the presentation of the gifts to her son, who marks the last of 6 students who went here. She is a founding member of this institution. Amy?
Thank you, Dr. Nabel, and thank you, Rabbi Katz. Thank you, parents, grandparents, communities, for supporting this school and choosing to send your precious ones here. As you just heard, each of these precious ones spoke about their unique experience here, and thank you for supporting your child, your graduate, to express their unique and most authentic self and support them on their next journey. And we hope that the Jewish education that you've received, right, that the Siddur, it's an open book, right? You can open it when you're ready, you can use it when you're ready, and it should be here and remind you of your time here. Let's try this. Naftali Fenster. Ashi Major Garfield.
When you look at us, it doesn't go on the mic.
Okay, thank you. Yoni Gessen. Ariella Gutfreund. Maya Oberstein. Alana Rappaport. Holden Shapiro. And Leah Simon.
Each year, the graduates vote on who they would like to receive their diplomas from. And this year, they have honored Mrs. Heather Page and Mr. Ed Riley. Our first graduate, Naftali Fenster. Make sure you get the picture. Ashi Garfield. Yoni Gessen. There you go. There you go. Ariella Gutfreund. Maya Oberstein. Alana Rappaport. Holden Shapiro. And Leah Simon. Maya Oberstein will now lead the class in the turning of the tassels. Eight is my favorite number. For as long as I can remember, the number 8 has had a special meaning for me. When you turn it on its side, you get the symbol for infinity. I've always thought that was pretty cool. Try turning a 4 on its side, see what you get. In algebraic geometry, the figure for infinity is called a lemniscate, or lemniscate, I don't know. I know you really want to know about such a weird word. It comes from the Latin, lemniscatus, meaning decorated with ribbons or with hanging ribbons. You're not decorated with ribbons today, but those hanging tassels will do just fine as I tie this lesson together. As you know from our graduation practice, the tassel starts on the right side of your mortarboard where it began today. Before graduation, the tassel on the right symbolizes your time as a student. When you move it to the other side, you are confirming your newfound graduate status. And with this new status comes more responsibility. Most of you will be leaving the comfy confines of your homes and traveling to colleges both near and far. Mom and Dad will remain just a phone call or Zoom away, but the responsibility for making good decisions will rest firmly on you. How will you handle the myriad situations that you find yourself in? I believe you will handle whatever befalls you just as you've handled yourselves these past 4 years, with humor, with hard work, with pride, and above all, with the steadfast resolve to be part of a caring community. I believe your years at HHNE NEJA have prepared you for your new status. Go out and prove me right. The possibilities that lie ahead are infinite. This concludes our ceremony. If you want to stand and throw those caps, it's fine. Thank you all for coming.